Welcome to the Endless Energy Week 1 meeting. I'm Dr. Jen Landa. I'm an OBGYN specialist and hormone specialist, and I help women to balance their hormones to get amazing energy. And I'm so excited that you're here because I want to help you get amazing energy. So I want to share a little something about myself that I'm kind of proud of. In the gym, I got a nickname, and I found out through my trainer that they call me Powerhouse. Powerhouse! Awesome. So honestly, I worked hard for that nickname and I earned it, but it wasn't always that way for me. As you've heard me talk about before, I didn't have great energy for a long time in my life, but I'm so excited that I do now, and I'm so excited to share with you everything about my journey to getting endless energy. I'm also the Chief Medical Officer of Body Logic MD, and that's a nationwide network of physicians who practice medicine like I do, focusing on nutrition, exercise, hormones, and the like, and helping women and men all over the country get their energy back and their vitality back and just feel better than ever before. So welcome to the Endless Energy Program. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm so excited to share this information with you because it will change your life. Energy is the thing that you need more of right now than anything else. And this 5-step plan that I'm going to go through with you in this 3-week program is going to help you get the energy back. So I'm going to tell you how we're going to break it down. So week 1 is today, and we're going to do the first 2 steps of my 5D program. Today, we're going to talk about the first 2 steps, which are drink and dine. And in week 2, we're going to talk about the 3rd and 4th steps, which are ditch and diminish. And in week 3, we're going to talk about drop. So you'll hear me say that a couple more times, but I just want to get you oriented to the program. I know that you are just plain stinking tired of being tired. You're cranky, you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and you want to stop being this way and it's so important that you stop being this way because you need energy. Why do you need energy? Because energy helps you do everything you want to do. You want to get further ahead in your career, you need energy. You want to take some weight off, go on a diet plan, exercise plan, you need energy. You want to attract the right person in relationship into your life. You need energy to do all of these things. And that's what I want to help you get more of. And the Endless Energy Program is going to help you do a lot of things. It's going to do a lot of different things for your health. But the main thing that I think is really important to keep in mind is the Endless Energy Program is designed to help you boost and balance your hormones, to get your hormones in balance, to help you really amp up your energy. So what I want to talk about now is really important because there's no reason to do this program if you don't have a why, and probably more than one why. And I know you do have whys, and it's really important right now to think about your whys. Even maybe get out a piece of paper and jot it down while I'm talking to you, because I want to tell you a little bit about my whys. Why do I do this program? Because you know what? A lot of people take it for granted when they look at me that I was born this way, that I was born thin and I don't have anything to worry about and I was energetic. But you know what? It definitely isn't that way and wasn't that way. I come from parents, honestly, that are both overweight, diabetic, have high blood pressure, and even my brother, who's younger than me, is overweight and has high blood pressure. So I don't come from the best genetics. And I truly have had to watch myself and watch pretty much everything I do all day long, every day, to really make sure that I stay in this kind of shape, but especially to get this energy back. And I've figured it out slowly over years, and I don't want it to take that long for you. And you know, so some of my big whys, why I stay on the program that I do and why I do everything I do, is one thing. I have 2 kids. Jonathan is 14 and Lexi's 12. So they're going into 7th and 9th grade. And that is a challenging time, as a lot of you probably know, right? Teenagers, it's all about me, 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 and I feel like I need a lot of patience for them. And I definitely, the last thing I ever want to be remembered as is, when they're on their therapist couch when they're grown up, hopefully not, but when they're analyzing their lives, I don't want to be remembered as the mean mommy. I want to be the nice mommy. I want to be the patient mom. So one of my big whys is really for my kids, to be a patient, happy mom that can be there for them. And another one is my husband, Adam. We've been married we're going on 20 years this year. Very exciting, but 20 years, as you know, is a long time to be married. And it takes a lot of energy and creativity to keep that marriage alive and intimate and cuddly and warm. So you see on my slide, I talk about less Netflix. Lately, I will admit, we've gotten addicted to Netflix, especially House of Cards is our new series that we're watching a lot of right now. And I worry, I've written blog posts about this. Netflix may be the death of intimacy, because on a night when you crawl into bed and you're tired and you don't have energy, you're much more likely to flip on Netflix than to have a nice, intimate, passionate time with your lover. And you know what? I want to have the energy where I want to shut off the TV and I want to cuddle up with Adam and maybe get a little frisky. I won't let my 14-year-old see this because he would be mortified. And finally, I'm going to tell you that my energy state tends toward burning up. I tend to get overwhelmed and irritable, and yoga would do me a world of good. So I've recently just started practicing yoga, and but it takes a lot of calm, focus, presence to practice yoga. And so I really want to be more grounded so that I can do more yoga and have more of a calm energy about me. So those are my big whys, just to give you some examples. And I want you to write down, what are your big whys? Maybe it's a big promotion at work. Maybe it's to improve your relationship. Maybe it's to be a better mom. And maybe it's to be a better daughter. Maybe whatever your motivation is. Maybe it's to climb a mountain, or maybe it's to do a 5K. Maybe it's just to take a walk around the block with your grandchild. So I want you to really think in detail about what those whys are, and I want you to write down a few of them right now so that you can keep those in mind and focus for why you're doing this program, because that really keeps you going. That's really what's going to keep you going, because I'm not saying that every step of this is going to be easy, and I'm not saying that it's not going to take work. And so when we do work, we want to know why. So keep those whys with you. So now I want to talk about the exhaustion epidemic that has literally taken women over. We were given all this great information that we can do anything we want, we can be anything we want. And so now we're all everything, right? We're working, we're moms, we're wives, and we're trying to be super women all the time. The problem is, in addition to that, we still have all of the stuff that traditional homemakers had to do, and even traditional homemaking has taken a complete left turn, and people are now, what is that expression? Those tiger moms. And every mom feels like they have to be running their kids around to a zillion different activities. So whether you're a homemaker, whether you work outside the home, your job is tougher than it's ever been before. And it's more demanding than it's ever been before. And unfortunately, this has left our society in a position where women tell me all the time that they're only living at 30% capacity. And I know that if you're honest with yourself, maybe you're only living at 30% capacity. And that's not enough. You deserve more than that. You need more than that. And I want that for you. So let's just call it what it is. You're exhausted and you need more. So these steps are really the steps that you need to take that are going to get you that energy back. So here's where it all starts. So what's the secret, you might be saying, Dr. Jen? And it's really simpler than you think it is. It starts in your adrenal glands. So your adrenal glands are these small glands that sit on top of your kidneys that nobody thinks much about, even doctors. They don't teach us much about them in medical school, but they really hold the key to our energy. And that's because the adrenal glands get activated every time we get under stress. So you know the stress cycle, you know it well. When you're in a stressful relationship with either your partner or even your mother-in-law. People tell me all the time about how their families are stressing them out and making demands on them. And certainly my teenage kids, they stress me out, believe me, more often than I care to admit. I fight with my husband sometimes. That stresses me out. Things at work stress me out. All kinds of things stress us out all day long. On top of everything else that's going on in our environment, air pollution and other things that we don't even think about. But the things that I was mainly talking about, relationships, these are mental and emotional stresses. And that's really what we need energy for. And those stresses activate the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands produce cortisol and adrenaline. And those are basically our get up and go. So when we're stressed out, our adrenals will produce cortisol and adrenaline, and that's our get up and go. That will help us deal with the stress. So cortisol and adrenaline spike whenever we have stress in our lives. So when you have a fight with your spouse, when your bills are unpaid and too high, when your boss is yelling at you, when your kids are stressing you out, when the traffic's bad. There's so many things that cause our cortisol and adrenaline to spike. The problem is our cortisol and adrenaline are spiking all the time, right? So cortisol and adrenaline, let me go back for a second. So cortisol and adrenaline are really there to help us deal with stress, right? And the stresses that are really the serious stresses are the stresses that we think about in terms of survival, like running from a saber-toothed tiger. That's a stress, right? And that's a stress that your adrenals are designed to handle, capable of handling. So the the thing about that stress was that was a really short-lived stress, right? Either you got away or you got eaten and that was the end of it. But nowadays, you live at 80% saber-toothed tiger attack, right? You live under constant stress and strain, and that's constantly stressing your adrenals out. And that can lead to burnout. And that's where this next slide comes in. So there are 3 stages to adrenal burnout. And I call them burning up, burning low, and burning out. So initially, when we're exposed to stress, or when our adrenals are pretty good, but there's a lot of stress going on, we start burning up. That means making more cortisol than we're normally supposed to make on a regular basis because we're stressed out. We turn into a frantic Franny. I am a frantic Franny. When I'm stressed out, that's what happens to me. I make too much cortisol, which causes me to be irritable. It causes me to be overwhelmed. It causes me to be a little anxious. Maybe I have trouble sleeping sometimes when I get in this state. And I feel like I just can't relax. Like I can't calm down. Like I can't do yoga. Like I can't even be on a vacation. It takes me a few days to unwind when I'm in that state, when I'm on vacation. And that's a frantic Franny. And if you're a frantic Franny, you know what I'm talking about. So then as stress continues and the adrenals continue to be under stress, then you move into stages where the adrenals start burning low. And if that stress continues for a long time, you get into the state of burning out. So burning low is Adrenal Toxins. And that's where I can get to. If stress goes on for long enough and I'm not taking really good care of myself, I will definitely get into like a Adrenal Toxins sort of state, which means that you can mount enough energy to kind of get to work and do what you got to do, but you're kind of dragging yourself or pushing yourself along, and you might use some caffeine or sugar to get through the day. And by the time you get home from work in the evening, or by the time dinner's done, you're just pooped. You just fall asleep on the couch, dragging yourself into bed. And that's when you're burning low, Adrenal Toxins. Or you could be burning out, like an exhausted Emma, or like one of my patients She told me a story where this was just a perfect example of a woman who was burning out. She would get up in the morning, get her kids on the bus, and once they were on the bus, she would spend the entire day just laid out on the couch. She couldn't do anything other than just watch some TV. She didn't have the energy to clean her house. She said her house was a mess and she felt guilty all the time. And her family asked her, why don't you do anything? Why can't you do anything? Why do you have no strength, no energy? What's wrong with you? And she felt guilty. She felt like kind of half a person. And even when she went and got the kids off the bus, she would just have them play in the family room in front of her so she could be, sort of present, but really not even able to focus on them or get down on the floor or play games with them or anything. And she was just miserable. And that's when you're burning out, when you're an exhausted Emma. So hopefully by now you've taken the Endless Energy quiz and you know where you are. Burning up, burning low, or burning out. Because this becomes really important later when we talk about the supplements that you need to help bring your energy back and to help support your adrenals. So the bottom line is when you're going through these stages of burnout, you're starting to crash. And crash is an acronym. Crash stands for, the C in crash stands for cortisol overload and depletion. The R in crash stands for food reactions and sensitivities. The A in crash stands for adrenal toxins. The S in crash stands for sugar roller coaster. And the H in crash stands for hormones. Hormone imbalance. And I want to go over each of these. So the cortisol, I told you about cortisol a little bit already, and I told you how it's the fight or flight hormone. It's the one that gets activated in a saber-toothed tiger attack, or maybe a more modern example would be a car accident. It's the one that gives a mom the superhuman strength to lift a car off a baby. It's the one that gives you that rush. It gives you the shakes, gives you that heart-pounding feeling. And that's when you have a huge amount of it. But when you have stress, your body puts a demand on your adrenal glands for cortisol. And it's necessary when you have a crisis, but the problem is that too many of us are under crisis, 80% car accident, all day long. And so we make either too much cortisol or too little. And cortisol is like a Goldilocks hormone. You don't want to make too much and you don't want to make too little. And you don't want to have too much strain going on the adrenals all the time so that you get to that burning up stage and then you go into those burning low and burning out phases. The next one I want to talk about is reactions. So reactions are reactions to foods. Food sensitivities is another name for this. Now this is totally different from an allergy. A lot of my patients say, oh, I don't have any food sensitivities. My lips don't blow up when I eat strawberries or anything like that. But that is what they call an allergy. There's a whole different category of what's called food sensitivity. And food sensitivities are reactions that can happen slowly over time. So if you have a food sensitivity, you might have an immediate reaction like bloating or gas or something like that. But you may have no reaction in your belly. You may have an acne reaction, and that reaction can take days to come out. You can have joint pain. You can have trouble losing weight, and you can definitely have low energy. And the two most common foods that cause these food sensitivities are dairy, meaning anything from cow's milk, and gluten. And I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about gluten sensitivity out there. There's a lot of great information about it out there right now, and we're going to go over in week 3 how to drop gluten and dairy, because I find those are a really important piece of the puzzle of getting people their energy back. So A, adrenal toxins. So the very things that you're doing to try to get some energy, like some caffeine, either pick your poison, so to speak, either coffee or Diet Coke. Diet Coke used to be mine. Diet Coke was definitely a big energizer that I would use especially when I was burning low and burning out and getting to that stage. I was drinking Diet Coke all day long to try to keep my energy going. But what I didn't know, and what I do know now, is that it actually makes a bad drain on your adrenals. It increases the drain on the adrenals and the strain on the adrenals. And that doesn't do you any favors. So that's why we've got to diminish the caffeine. And alcohol is a big problem too. So for those of you who are anxious and putting yourself to sleep with alcohol, and then waking yourself up during the day with caffeine, that is a recipe for disaster. And you know what? I know, because occasionally, I will admit, I get on a jag like that sometimes, especially when I go on vacation and I say, oh, let me have a couple of cocktails. I know I do fine with 1 glass of wine, 1.5 glasses of wine, but I'm not that big a person. And if I go into 2 and 3 glasses of wine, I'll be feeling it. I won't sleep well. And then the next day I'm exhausted. And if I have to be up and going, well, what am I going to wake myself up with? Well, caffeine. And there I am on this endless cycle, because the caffeine makes me anxious, and at night I don't go to sleep. So there you are in a cycle. And that is terrible for your adrenals. And that's why next week we're going to talk about diminishing alcohol and caffeine. So the sugar roller coaster. This one is huge. This is key. This is a huge physical stress that is going on in your body every day that you don't even know about. When you eat the wrong foods, or when you don't eat at the right time, your body goes on a sugar roller coaster. Your blood sugar spikes and then it crashes. And when your blood sugar crashes, your body sees that as an emergency, a crisis. And you already know, because I told you, that your body will put a drain on the adrenals to deal with the crisis. So sugar roller coaster puts a drain on your adrenals that zaps your energy, which is why next week we are devoting a ton of time to ditching sugar. It's hugely important. Finally, hormone imbalance. That's what this is all about. So the CRASH acronym really stands for a bunch of physical hidden stresses that are taking their toll on your body that you're not even aware of. And what happens when all of that happens is it causes hormone imbalance. It causes especially a deficiency in progesterone and testosterone. And this is so important, because progesterone is your calming hormone. Progesterone helps you not feel so overwhelmed. It helps you with your mood. It helps you get to sleep at night. Who couldn't use more of that, right? And then testosterone, a lot of people think testosterone just really has to do with sex, but oh my goodness, testosterone helps with energy, memory, mood, bone strength, muscle strength, helps us get rid of fat. Testosterone acts like a woman's emotional shield. If you feel like you get weepy too often, that means you need more testosterone. So what does all this have to do with this program? Well, cortisol is greedy. And when you make too much cortisol, when your body feels like it's constantly in a crisis and you're making too much cortisol, your levels of every other hormone in the body are going to go down. And that is big time for progesterone and testosterone. And I just told you why those are so important. So your body will treat the crisis as more important. And it is, because if you had a crisis, God forbid, like a car accident, your body needs to activate that cortisol. Well, your body can't tell the difference between the mental and emotional stress that you're under every day, and then add to it the physical stresses, the hidden physical stresses that you're under, the things we just talked about, the food reactions, the adrenal toxins, the sugar roller coaster crash, basically. When your body is crashing, those hidden physical stressors are taking their toll, and basically your body's wasting a lot of the energy that it could be using for your everyday life on these hidden physical stressors. And that's why this whole program, the 5 steps of my program, were designed to help you stop crashing and start crushing. I want you to crush your life. Okay, so that sounds a little weird, but I mean, I want you to go out there and crush. I want you to feel amazing. I want you to feel awesome every day. And I want you to be able to accomplish all those whys that we just talked about. So here's the 5-step plan. You're gonna drink a protein shake every day within an hour of waking up in the morning. You're gonna learn to dine. The most important part is the when of the dining, every 3 to 4 hours. You're gonna learn to ditch sugar. You're gonna learn to diminish alcohol and caffeine. Now notice I didn't say quit. I said diminish, so don't freak out. And drop gluten and dairy. Now I know you might be saying to yourself, Dr. Jen, are you kidding? You want me to do all of that? How is it even possible that you think that I could possibly do all of that? Well, listen, I can tell you that you can do it because I did it. And let me remind you, you're looking at me saying, yeah, well, it's easy for you. You're a doctor. You're thin, yada, 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 right? But I told you, my parents are both overweight. My parents both have high blood pressure. My parents both have diabetes. And I have tried really hard to get my parents to change because that's scary stuff. And you know what? I know that stuff is going to shorten their lives. And I grew up knowing that. And you know what? I really think that it might honestly be why I'm so passionate about healthcare and why I think it's so important to stay in good shape and to teach my kids. I teach John and Lexi all the time about eat this, not that. You need to exercise, and Adam too. I keep the whole family on track. At least I try, and I try to keep myself on track because you know what? It's worth it. I have amazing energy. People call me the Energizer Bunny, and they call me the powerhouse at the gym. And you know what? I am proud of that. And because I'm so proud, I am going to brag a little because I worked for it. So I feel like I deserve it, and I'm going to show it off to you. All right? So with this program, not only do I have amazing energy, but I lost at least about 5, 6, 7% of my body fat. So by the way, I'm also not 20 something, not 30 something. I am 45. This body has carried 2 children, and I'm going to show you what your abs can look like. So these are Dr. Jen's abs. And yes, that was Dr. Jen's belly ring. And you know what? The reason I showed you that is because I want to show you what is possible. It is totally possible no matter what your genetics look like, no matter what your life looks like now. It is possible for you to turn it around. And I want you to go back and think about those whys, why you want to turn it around. Because I know you can do this and you deserve this. This is your chance. So let's talk about how. How are you going to do it? It's as easy as changing your habits. That simple. So what is this slide about? Cue behavior result. All right, habits are just habits, right? Habits are something we do automatically every day. Like you put your pants on. Do you put them on with the right leg first or the left leg first? You have no idea, right? Because you do it automatically every day. And that's what happens with habits. They're things that happen automatically. But if you break the science of habits down, and the reason I want to do this is because everything that you're going to do in this program is about changing habits. So I want you to view it through this lens, that there's a cue for every habit. So I'm going to give you an example to make it easy. I got in a habit a while back of so I told you I'm a sugar craver, okay? And you might not be surprised when you've heard about my genetics already, right? I've got diabetes on both sides of my family. So I crave sugar, and one of the times I crave sugar, which is you probably can relate to this, in the evening after dinner when you're sitting around and when I'm bored and when we're watching TV or hanging out with the family playing a board game or something like that. We love Monopoly Deal. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but it's pretty cool. So I love getting some sort of snack, some sort of dessert. And of course, I love something sugary tasting. So I got in a habit for a while where I thought, these Jell-O pudding cups, those 60-calorie chocolate pudding cups, they can't be that bad. They're artificially sweetened, so they're low in calories. And my favorite thing is whipped cream. Ready whipped cream on top. That's only 10 calories a serving. So I was like, 70 calories. This couldn't hurt me. And I got into a habit, and every single night I had to, when I felt a little bored, a little edgy, I was like, let me get my Jell-O pudding cup, right? So the cue is the boredom and the restlessness. And the behavior was the Jell-O pudding cup. Until I realized that I wanted to try to get off sugar. And I didn't even think those Jell-O pudding cups counted, but you know what? I got rid of every other sugar first, and then I got rid of those. And I was out of my mind craving sugar. And we'll talk more about this next week when we talk about ditching sugar. But I had to change the behavior. So the cue was the boredom and restlessness in the evening. So what I did was I just made myself a cup of herbal tea. I changed my behavior, and I drank the herbal tea. And you know what? The result was different. I actually felt better with the herbal tea. I felt more relaxed, took the edge off a little bit, and I had something to kind of keep my hands and my mouth busy while I was watching TV or playing board games with my family. So it's as simple, really, as recognizing the cue and changing the behavior to change the result. And that's what I'm going to teach you to do with this program. So now we're going to get to it. We're going to get to week 1. We're going to get to drink and dine, the first 2 D steps of your program, drink and dine. So first we're going to start where you always start, at the beginning, with breakfast, okay? Breakfast is the most important thing. You've probably heard this before. If you want to lose weight, you've got to eat breakfast. But it's not only that you've got to eat breakfast, you've got to eat the right breakfast, because breakfast sends a signal to your body about what your intentions are for the day, from a physical point of view at any rate. It gives your body instructions as to what it's going to do during the day. So you want to give it the right instructions, but the problem is most of our normal breakfast foods are absolutely awful for you. So you go to Starbucks and you grab a muffin and a Frappuccino. Not going to do it. Me, when I lost my energy, when I lost my spark, I call it, I was eating a bagel every morning. A good old New York bagel. I worked in New York and I got a bagel on the street every day. And that was one of the worst things I could have been doing. It doesn't send the right signal to your body, and that will zap your energy. And more important than that, skipping breakfast is even worse. So people tell me they skip breakfast for 2 reasons. One is because they don't have time. So we're going to take care of that problem right now. 2 is that they tell me, well, I'm not even hungry. I don't feel like having breakfast. Most of the people who don't feel like having breakfast in the morning tell me they will do the first step that I want them to do, to drink a protein shake. And also, people who aren't hungry for breakfast in the morning, I will tell you, have a definite problem. That not hungry in the morning means that your body's signals are messed up. So if you're not hungry for breakfast in the morning, your body's signals are messed up. I'm telling you right now. And you need to get that on track. And the way to get it on track is this. I'm telling you, drink a protein shake. All right, so it sounds maybe too good to be true. Maybe it sounds too simple. Maybe you've tried protein shakes before and you're like, Dr. Jen, are you kidding? Those protein shakes taste awful. Well, I know that it's gotta taste good. So believe me, this is something that I do personally every day, drink a protein shake. And I promise you, we can make it delicious. Here's mine right now. That is so good. I'm telling you. A protein shake doesn't have to be disgusting, and it doesn't mean you're a gym rat or anything like that. I actually have an 88-year-old patient named Millie who tells me that her protein shake is her power shake. She just loves it. It gives her all the energy she needs. And you can't even imagine how many patients I've gotten to drink a protein shake and just stick with it because they love it. They love it because it's quick, it's easy, and it gives them everything they need to get them going for their day. So why do I want you to start the day with a protein shake? So it helps control cortisol. Remember, I told you everything is really about cortisol and the adrenals, and I want to regulate your cortisol, and the biggest way that you do it is by regulating your blood sugar, getting off the sugar roller coaster, and the shake is going to do that for you. Because if you don't eat any breakfast, or you don't eat the right breakfast, your blood sugar is going to get all messed up, and that sends your body the wrong signals for the day. And you've got to start with the right signals. So I created a bunch of stuff to help you, and it's all in the Endless Energy membership area. So remember the email we sent you about the membership area? You got to get on that membership area, log in. If you don't have your login credentials, just let us know, but you should have them in an email. Log in, and you will see tons of things that I created about the shakes, because I want you to love these shakes. Number 1, I shot a shake video for you literally right after I came home all sweaty and gross from the gym, but that's when I make my protein shake. So I had Adam shoot it for me, and I put it out there for you because I want you to see exactly step-by-step how I make my protein shake. I also put out there my favorite shake recipes, and and the shake guide, you know, how to get a good quality protein shake and what you need and all of that. So check out all those resources in your Endless Energy membership site. So here's the things briefly that I want you to know. First of all, you got to drink the shake within an hour of getting up, and I think I already told you why, because you're sending the instructions to your body for the day. Okay, so I told you already about dairy sensitivity, so nothing from cow's milk. So I don't want your protein shake to be from cow's milk, obviously. I also don't want it to be from processed soy. So soy has multiple forms, but when soy is in a protein shake, it's processed soy, and processed soy isn't good for you. So I don't want you to have soy in your protein shake either. These are examples of some of the things I do want you to have in your protein shake. So believe it or not, peas and potatoes have protein that you can get protein shakes made from, or rice protein or chia protein. There's many examples of these different types of proteins. And I know it's complicated out there. When you look around at proteins, you want something high quality, but you really don't know where to turn. And especially nowadays, I don't know if you heard about Consumer Reports did this report, and a bunch of the protein powders, including Muscle Milk, one of the well-known ones, have too much heavy metals in these shakes. They exceed the government's limitation for heavy metals for us. So you've got to be really careful about what you're buying and what you're getting. So I did the homework for you, and I have great tasting shakes available on my website that are of the highest quality. They're gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free. So if you want it all just done for you, just head to my website, to the web store, where you can check out the protein shakes. And those protein shakes I'm talking about are also part of the Endless Energy kits, which we'll talk about in a minute. So to your protein shake, you want to add some non-dairy milk. Coconut milk is my favorite. That's So Delicious brand that's on the slide. That's my absolute fave. Add fresh or frozen fruit. The frozen fruit is such an easy way to do it. You just take it right out of the freezer, you put it in instead of ice cubes. I don't add any fruit personally. I don't think the shake needs it. I don't need that amount of sweetness to it, but if you're starting to give up sugar, you may want some fresh berries in there or frozen berries to add a little sweetness. And then 4 ounces of greens. Now I know that sounds a little icky, it sounds a little weird if you're not used to it, but honestly, I promise you, you won't even notice it. Especially go for, if you're really hesitant about it, go for some romaine, because that's really mild tasting. You won't even notice it, but it'll give you that extra benefit that you get from green. And then there's all kinds of other things that you can add in. Personally, one of my favorites is 100% cocoa powder. 100% cocoa powder is the strongest antioxidant on the planet. Forget chia seed, blueberry, all of that great stuff you hear about. Cocoa is the #1 strongest antioxidant. So for anti-aging purposes, fighting cancer purposes, anything you can think of, and your energy, of course, cocoa powder is excellent. It's also a great source of magnesium. And then there are additional add-ins. So if you look at my shake recipes, I talk about some of the things that I add in. I add in some oils. Personally, I was a big fan of the Shamrock Shake, the McDonald's Shamrock Shake back in the day. My birthday falls right after St. Patrick's Day. March 20th is my birthday, right after St. Patrick's Day. And every year I would treat myself to several Shamrock Shakes, those green shakes that they make at McDonald's, because I just love mint and chocolate together. Well, you know what? Every day now, I make myself a chocolate chip mint shake, and you have the recipe for it in your Endless Energy membership area. And lots of other things too, if you don't like mint. So I want you to make it easy on yourself. You know, some people tell me, well, I think a protein shake is pretty quick and easy to make. You know, it only takes me 5 minutes. But some people say, I don't even have 5 minutes, Dr. Jen. So I want you to make it easy on yourself. Prepare it in a Ziploc the night before. Just dump all the ingredients into a little Ziploc baggie. That's what I do when I travel. When I take my shakes with me when I travel, I dump it all into a Ziploc baggie. I take one with me for each day, and I'm ready to go. And you can do the same thing. Prepare everything the night before, stick it in the fridge. Then the next morning you just have to dump it in your blender cup or your high-speed blender or whatever, and you're good to go. And you take it in a cup in the car, and off you go. I drink mine in the car every day on the way to work, and it's such a time saver. So now we're on to the supplements. You might be saying to yourself, Dr. Jen, okay, come on. You already want me to drink a shake and now you want me to take supplements too? And the answer is, yeah. I want to make this easy for you. I want to make this as easy as possible for you. And I am telling you, the supplements make it easier. The supplements are what is going to help your adrenals recover from where they've been and get you back on track. I'm not telling you you're going to need supplements lifelong. You might find you're under enough stress that the supplements really help you out. Personally, I take supplements every day and I find they help me out a lot. But I want to get you back on track within 3 weeks. So you definitely have to take supplements to get yourself back on track and to keep yourself on track. So the supplements, why supplements? Because supplements help bring your adrenals back into balance. So if you're burning up and you're making too much cortisol, the supplements are going to help bring down the cortisol. And if you're burning low or burning out, your cortisol is going to come up if you take the supplements. So you need the supplements to help get your adrenals back in the shape to make energy again. And that's why you need to take the supplements. And you need to have high quality supplements too. I talked about before some of the reports that you hear out and about. Supplements are not that well regulated. So you have to use supplement companies that regulate and police themselves. And the supplements that I recommend are supplements that I know inside and out. And that's why I wholeheartedly take them and recommend them. So the Endless Energy Kits, I created the kits specifically for each energy state. So whether you're burning up, burning low, or burning out, there's a kit for you with supplements specific to your issue. I hope you get your kit because really this is the best way that you're gonna get the results that you need, the results that you deserve. So how to use your kit? Very simply, you go on your Endless Energy membership site. Remember, back to the membership site where you log in and you've got a very simple guide, how to use your Endless Energy kit. So just follow the steps in there and it's going to tell you step by step everything you need to do to use the kit, which is the shake and the supplements that are going to support your energy type. Because remember, I told you, you need certain supplements for burning up, which are going to lower cortisol. But if you're burning low or burning out, you need to bring cortisol up. So not all adrenal supplements are created equally. Sometimes patients come into my office, they tell me, I'm on an adrenal supplement. I say, well, what's in it? They're like, I don't know. But it's really important to know what's in your adrenal supplements, or in your case, you don't have to know what's in your adrenal supplements, but you have to take the right ones for your energy state. And then, because I know a lot of you, I know that you might have problems maybe getting to sleep at night, or maybe you're having problems with PMS or menopause or some other issue, your memory maybe. A lot of us are having those issues. And you might need additional support supplements. Like personally, I do take a memory supplement. And so I gave you a listing of additional supplements for additional problems that you might have. And that again is in your membership area. So now I want to talk to you about dining. I want to talk to you about how I want you to eat. I can't stress this step enough. When I change the diets of my patients, their energy changes. You can do the same thing. If you change your diet, if you do what I'm asking you to do, and believe me, it's not hard. This is really actually pretty simple. And if you make these simple changes, you will definitely see an improvement in your energy. So let's go. So the 2 W's, when to eat and what to eat. Those are the 2 most important things to know when about the Dine step, the second step. So number 1, when. So the first thing you want to do is drink your shake. We talked about that within an hour of getting up. And after that, I want you to eat every 3 to 4 hours. So I want you to eat every 3 to 4 hours because that helps keep you off the sugar roller coaster. All right, so your blood sugar is not spiking, it's not crashing. You're keeping your blood sugar even, steady, and stable, which helps keep your energy steady and stable. That's really important. So I want you to aim for, usually for most people, 3 meals and 2 snacks in between their meals. So what to have, the what. So there's the when and now there's the what. What to have at each meal. So people were always asking me for how many grams of this, how many grams of that, what should I be doing? So I spelled it out for you here. Protein is a really important component and you want to make sure you're getting at least 20 grams with each of your meals. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Each snack doesn't necessarily have to have 20 grams. And maybe even 25 grams, somewhere in that ballpark. About 20 grams is enough though. And the protein shakes that I picked, of course, have at least 20 grams of protein. And then for lunch and dinner, we're going to go over sources of protein that you can eat. And in combination with that, I want you to have at least 5 grams of fat, 5 grams of fiber, and up to about 25 grams of carbohydrate. So this is no Atkins diet. This is not a wipe out all carbs from your diet period, because we need carbs for energy. Carbs, our body actually does run on sugar, and it gets the sugar from the carbohydrates. And that's how our body makes energy. That's how your muscles make energy. So you've got to eat carbohydrates, but not a lot of them. 25, you'd be surprised, it's not a lot. So over the course of the day, you're aiming for maybe about 75 to 100 grams of carbs total. That's not a lot, you'll be surprised. So what should your plate look like? Back again to the membership site, log onto the membership site, and you will have a food guide for every type of food that I'm discussing here. But just to give you some examples, so proteins, there's a whole huge range of proteins that you can eat. Basically, lean meats like chicken, turkey, lean pork, lean steak, all of those are perfectly fine. Fish like cod, sea bass, tilapia, all good sources of protein. And then if you're a vegetarian, of course, you can do eggs if you eat eggs. And if you're a vegetarian that doesn't eat eggs, you have other choices. You have tempeh, edamame, quinoa. I love quinoa because quinoa fulfills so many of the different requirements. It's got fiber, it's got protein, it's got some carbohydrates, but not too many. Quinoa is like a magic food. If you haven't tried it yet, please try some quinoa. Quinoa's got the fat too. So quinoa's like this perfect food. So fats, healthy fats. So we used to all think that we had to be low fat, right? Back in the 80s, I used to eat those Snackwells cookies in college because they had no fat. But how were they getting flavor? Through sugar. So that's the whole low fat craze is all bass-ackwards, if you excuse my French. So you need to eat healthy fats. Remember, your brain is made of fat. And so you have to supply the body with healthy fats to keep your brain going. So what kinds? Nuts are great. Avocado, like a quarter of an avocado. Salmon has great fat in it. And so I have a whole list in your Endless Energy membership site, I have a whole list of great fats and the serving sizes. So with fats, it's really important to watch the serving size because fats are really high in calorie and you can overdo it really easily. So you've got to literally count out the nuts, 8 to 10 nuts and no more, okay? Fiber. Fiber is super important to keeping yourself, number one, full and satisfied, and number two, to keeping your blood sugar stable. So yet again, it's all about the sugar roller coaster and staying off that sugar roller coaster. So fiber will help keep your blood sugar more stable over time. So you've got to eat fiber with each meal. So here's some examples. Cooked black beans. That's pretty easy to get in lots of places. For example, a place I love to go for lunch or dinner is Chipotle. And there's plenty of other places like that out there, these Mexican places, and they all have cooked black beans. It's perfect. It's so easy. Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are like a wonder food. If you like Brussels sprouts, definitely chow down on the Brussels sprouts because 10 Brussels sprouts has about 7 grams of fiber, but 10 Brussels sprouts also has 6 grams of protein, if you can believe it. But keep in mind, 10 Brussels sprouts also has about 17 grams of carbohydrates. So remember I told you those carbs add up really fast? They really do. Quinoa, edamame, other sources of fiber that also double as high protein. And so carbohydrates, I've been kind of leading up to this, keep talking about that 25 gram carb limit. So I told you, it's a small amount, smaller than you might think, especially for certain foods. So like everybody thinks, oh, white rice is bad, so I'll switch to brown rice, and then they eat a cup of brown rice. No, you gotta really eat small amounts of brown rice because brown rice does have fairly high carbs, and we're gonna talk about that next week when we talk about ditching sugar because the brown rice can turn to sugar pretty easily, which is why we need a small amount. Lentils are an amazing food which has carbohydrates, fiber, and protein. So definitely look for those as well. All right. So now you know how to drink and you know how to dine. So remember, those are steps 1 and 2, drink and dine. And now I want to give you some tips to make week 1 easier for you, because I know this is overwhelming. I know this is a lot of information and it's a lot of change to ask you to do. But I want you to go back again to your whys. Remember why you're doing this, why you need more energy right now. And so in week 1, one of the things that people ask me about is, well, Dr. Jen, if I just drink a shake in the morning, won't I be hungry? And I say, no, it really doesn't happen that way. But if you are feeling hungry, odds are you're dehydrated. Now, I know there's controversy about this, but I am still of the school of thought that 8 to 10 glasses a day of water is what you need. So whether you add lemon to it or other types of flavorings, I want you to drink water. And we'll talk next week about the best ways to drink water. So I want you to get your 8 to 10 glasses a day. So if you feel really hungry and you only ate like 2 hours ago, get yourself a big glass of water, 8 to 10 ounces, drink it down, and then wait about 15 to 20 minutes. And if you're still feeling hungry, then odds are you have low blood sugar and you do need to eat a balanced meal. But I'm betting that the hunger is going to go away and it was just the dehydration. I'm telling my daughter this all the time. I'm hungry, Mommy. You need to drink more water. She gets headaches from it too. So if you find yourself getting frequent headaches, try drinking the 8 to 10 glasses of water. I bet you're not doing it. All right, so more tips. I want you to really tune into your body. So even that dehydration versus hunger thing, it's a matter of tuning into your body. So I really want you to start listening to your body. When you're hungry, when you're eating out of just boredom or restlessness or frustration, start listening to your body and then start feeling the effects of how great you're gonna feel when you start to eat cleaner and when you start to eat more frequently, when you do the what and the when of the eating, and when you start to drink your shake and take your supplements. You're gonna start feeling better, I bet, within the week. And I want you to start paying attention to that feeling. Maybe you don't need a nap anymore in the afternoon, or maybe you don't have the urge to take one even if you don't normally take one. Because the shakes and supplements should give you energy, and the eating plan will give you energy. To make sure that you succeed, I want you to plan your meals ahead of time. So that might mean for you grilling up a half a dozen chicken breasts on the weekend or boiling up a dozen eggs. You want to have things ready to go. You want to make it simple for yourself. Maybe have some carrot sticks, some hummus, maybe in to-go containers. Make sure to make it real easy for yourself. But believe me, this doesn't have to be hard. And then to stay motivated, I'm going to send you a couple of emails over the course of the next week. I'm going to address some of the challenges you might be having. I'm going to tell you some of my favorite ways to stay on the program. And I want you to remember, yet again, I'm going to mention the membership site. That's where everything you're going to need is. So log into your membership site. And please, please, please come on the Facebook page. That way I can support you. So I'm going to be jumping in and out of the Facebook page, and our members are going to be in and out of the Facebook page. The very first thing I want you to do, I want you right now, the very first thing I want you to do when we stop this teaching, I want you to jump on the Facebook. I want you to get in the private Facebook group, and I want you to come on there, and I want you to introduce yourself to me, and I want you to tell me about your why. Are you wanting to climb Machu Picchu, or are you just wanting to take your grandchild to the park and not be exhausted? Tell me what your big whys are. I want to hear about them, and I want to support you. So get on that Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group just for us going through the Endless Energy program. Another thing I want you to do to keep up your inspiration and your motivation is I told you about how shakes send the message to your body for the day. Well, another way to send your body the right message is to set the right intention for the day. So that's basically to just sit for a few minutes quietly and talk to yourself about what you want for yourself today. Talk to yourself about the energy that you want for today, about what your whys are. Why are you willing to do this program? Why do you want to do this program? Because you deserve more energy and you deserve to be able to get those whys. Another thing I want you to do is I want you to find a picture of yourself from a time when you were full of energy. And if you don't have a picture of yourself when you were full of energy, then maybe a picture of something that you want to do. Maybe a picture of you with your grandchild playing at a time when you were playing, or maybe a picture of you on a vacation, or maybe a picture of somebody else on the vacation that you dream of taking. And you feel right now that you're not in good enough shape and you don't have enough energy to do it. Get a picture that inspires you and keep that picture with you, and even keep it on your fridge if you need to. But make sure that you've got a picture like this picture of this gal right here having such amazing energy. Remember, it's worth it. And remember, I'm gonna brag again, but if you want Dr. Jen's abs, it's worth it. I want you to have this energy, and I know you can do it. You deserve it. And finally, I want you to share your recipes with me. So honestly, I need help. My family gets tired sometimes of the stuff that I want them to eat, and I'm honestly not the greatest cook on earth. So if you can help me out with some recipes, that would be really awesome. But it would also be awesome because I'm going to put them together into a community cookbook, and I'm going to share it with everybody who does the program. So please share your recipes with me. Please remember your big whys. Remember, you can do this. I believe in you, and I want you to do this. Can't wait to see you next week and hear how you're doing on the Facebook page. Please check in with me. Let me know if you're struggling with something, if you need support with something, let me know, and I'll try to answer every question that I can. Can't wait to see you on there, and I can't wait to see you for week 2. Week 2, we're gonna go over ditching sugar and diminishing alcohol and caffeine. And remember, in week 3, we're gonna drop gluten and dairy. But don't worry, I'm gonna make it easy. Wishing you the best of great health, great happiness, and of course, amazing energy. See you next time.